Toni Saunders here, and welcome back to my passion. Today we're going to continue this series of federally recognized disabilities. Today we're going to talk about communication. Communication has facets to it. The first one is expressive language. It's what I'm doing for you right now. I am expressing myself to you. In order for me to express myself to you, I have to know vocabulary. I have to understand how to put sentences together. And if I can't, it's a disability. The next one is receptive language. Now, receptive language is when someone is talking to you and you have to understand what they're saying. Again, vocabulary is one of the key components to receptive language and expressive language. It has to be congruent. In other words, you have to be able to understand what someone's saying to you, and you have to understand what you're going to say to someone else. Another part of communication is pragmatic communication, and that's social language. Like, hey, how you doing? You know, the way kids talk nowadays. I'm not a kid, so I don't know everything they say nowadays, but you have to be able to carry on a conversation, a reciprocal conversation in a social group. And to be able to do that, you have to be able to do pragmatic language. Now, pragmatic language is usually tested when a student is thought to be autistic. And I want to say to you, you should have it done anyway, just to find out if there are any weaknesses in your child's profile. That has to do with pragmatics. And they will understand why they're being tested for these. Because if they do have a communication disability, they're going to need help. Lots of help. They may even need a one-to-one. Because here we are trying to express, receive, and speak about the world, what you know. You have to have vocabulary. That's why a lot of times teachers give you a vocabulary list to be able to respond to the following day's lessons. At least it was in my day. I can't imagine why they would teach you anything other than that for any reason. So, who does this testing? A speech pathologist only. No paraprofessional, nobody but a speech pathologist. And once you get the information you need to make a right decision about whether or not your child is going to need speech therapy. You also have to look at stuttering, language, articulation. All of those things are a part of speech, right? So if a student has a stutter, and I want to say this about stuttering children, and that is that typically they're bullied. And they may have some friends come up and help them, but in reality, the bullying is from other peers who don't stutter, and they like to make fun of kids who do. That would be a great thing if your school had an anti-bullying law, so that when you go to the principal's office with your mother or father and talk to him or her about what's happening, because don't let it go on and on. What you should be doing is being proactive and keeping the students that are bullying away from your child. And if they're in the same classroom for X, Y, and Z, they would be able to nip it in the bud. Because I have a student that I'm working with right now who's been bullied for 2 years, and the school has not done their job, because here in Massachusetts there's a law against bullying. It even is written into the IEP. So if a child is being bullied, there should be consequences to the bully or bullies. But this is your son or daughter, and they're not the ones bullying. They're being bullied. They have to have a person that they can go to immediately if they're being bullied and nobody's doing anything about it. There should be a person to connect with every student. If they have an issue, they should be able to go to that person and get their needs met. It doesn't always happen. And my kid tried to kill himself. Luckily, he didn't succeed. But now he's in a mental institution because he tried to kill himself. He tried. And he almost succeeded. We have to teach our children well. We have to teach them not to hurt others in any way, shape, or form with their words or their hands, their fists. If more children would communicate with each other, they might find out they actually like the person that was bullying them, and it isn't anymore. A communication disability, according to the federal government, is when it substantially interferes with the learning of a student. So you can't have a B student and then say he doesn't understand the vocabulary, because obviously he does. What's more is the fact that there are lots of children who speak softly and don't modulate their voices, and sometimes that's a disability. We're trying to teach you what to look for. That's it. So, it's time for you to know everything you can find out about your child's disability. And remember, expressive, receptive, pragmatic. That's what you're going to have to live with, deal with. Having your child understand what is being taught to them. And I want to thank you for listening, and subscribe. Ask questions. Interact with me. I would love to hear from you. Thank you.